From Nepal's capital, Kathmandu, we board our twin-otter plane to fly east to Lukla. It's not uncommon for these small mountain planes not to operate in adverse weather and low cloud, and this cloud isn't looking too promising.
We are diverting to another
Bad news, we cannot land at Lukla, so our flight is diverting to another airstrip at Ramchap Mantali. Well, after all, it is Friday the 13th.
It's too cloudy to land at Lukla, so we have to wait here till the clouds move. Hopefully we'll be able to take off soon and get to Lukla.
So we waited around the airport for the weather opportunity, and waited, and waited, and waited, until eventually we assigned ourselves to the fact that we're not taking off today. Let's pray and hope there's no cloud tomorrow. Our luck is in. We are now flying again to Lukla. Situated on the edge of a 9,000-foot mountain, Lukla Airstrip was built in 1964 under the supervision of Edmund Hillary, after buying the land off local Sherpas for just under $3,000. The runway was paved in 2001, and in 2008 the airport was renamed in honour of Sherpa Tenzing Norgay and Sir Edmund Hillary. It is here where adventure in the Himalayas begins.
Starting our trek now from Lukla, going to Pading.
From Lukla we head northwards to Pading, then steep ascents to Namche. We continue to Temboshe Monastery, and then Pangboshe, and then spend 2 nights at Dingboshe. The trail continues steeply to Loboshe, and then Gorik Shep, and then on to our ultimate goal, Everest Base Camp. 14th of October. We leave the little town of Lukla and set off on the first short leg of our 12-day adventure, heading northwards along the valley of the Dukosi, or Milk River, and eventually reaching the small settlement of Pakding.
Well, 900, yeah, exactly, because
600.
Always walk clockwise around stupas and Marni walls, otherwise it's considered bad luck.
When you're on camera, do it right, will you?
Well, that's 7 years bad luck. Zigzagging along the Dukosi River, we use suspension bridges to cross, and some are more welcoming than others. Spinning prayer wheels are supposed to give blessings to whoever spins them. Ever the Joker, Chong Sherpa, he is our assistant guide, together with Bim Tamang.
What's sticking out? Oh, what's sticking out? Hello, namaste.
Namaste.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Calamari.
And leading from the rear is our leader, Nirmal Tamang, and Kami Sherpa.
Look after those bags. That way. Here's trying a bit of pasture. Grass is always greener, isn't it?
We probably haven't got the time on a fucking 10-day trek, you know?
Namaste.
And we eventually reach our first night's accommodation at Pakding.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Let's move.
Let's go.
Let's go.
15th of October. We leave Pading
Here we go.
to head to Namche,
Day 2.
and we continue following the Dukosi
It's a
northwards.
long way to Namche.
This day's walk takes us through magnificent forests of giant fir, magnolia trees and rhododendron. Plenty of wobbly suspension bridges on this leg of the journey.
Sorry.
Just leaving Padang now. We're up to Namche.
I think that's it now. Namaste.
We're now entering the Sagarmatha National Park. Only 6 kilometres, yet another 4 hours to Namche.
You're a celebrity, get yourself out here.
Hello, when did you join our group? Our final resting stop by the riverbed before our final 600 metre ascent to Namche. Oh well, I suppose we better get on with it. Well, here goes.
Right, we're on the highest now, highest suspension bridge. It's only opened 2 years ago. Just check out the view on this. If you look below us, there's another bridge.
Okay, okay.
Keep over your hat. Kind of windy.
And finally, after 6 hours trekking, we reached Namche Bazaar at just under 3,500 metres.
Red book lights on here.
Namche is the administrative centre of the Khumbu region. It's a prosperous Sherpa village and an important trading centre. And there are many shops, bars and hotels here. Our second night's accommodation.
Clean.
16th of October. Another early 7 AM start, heading to Kayanjuma. Firstly, we're climbing steeply out of Namche. We're going to head first to the Everest View Hotel, with its commanding views of Everest and Amadablam. Down onto Namche. Our very first view of Mount Everest. Amadablam.
Welcome to the Hotel Everest View.
Opened in 1971, Hotel Everest View offers a 360-degree view of awe-inspiring peaks, with a view of Mount Everest from every room. It is the highest hotel in the world, at 13,000 feet. We now descend into Kumjung to visit the Edmund Hillary School, and then on to Kundi to see the Edmund Hillary Hospital. Kumjung.
Steve? Yeah. Can you take the photo looking back?
Built in 1961 by the Edmund Hillary Trust, the school has over 300 pupils and is the only high school in the Khumbu region.
Since Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzin Norgay Sherpa, they summit Mount Everest, entire region of lifestyle totally changed after that. When he devoted his life, almost entire life after that day, for this region. That's why Sir Edmund Hillary is treated as a god for this his entire region, and he can understand. He understands very well that importance of education at the time. That's why he decided to make the school. It was very hard at the time because you are not allowed to cut any tree because it's inside a national park, and it's very hard and difficult to convince the Sherpa also. Finally, he was able to convince all the villagers to make the school this region, and all the villagers they gathered together and they helped Sir Edmund Hillary to build this school in 1963. The school is highly developed now. It's one of the best and reputed school in entire village. So they have enough building adequate classroom.
It's late in the afternoon, so most of the pupils have gone home. Apart from a few playing on the seesaw with Paul. He's the bigger kid wearing shorts.
Ready?
Ready?
Keep hold.
I won't do it too much. Ready?
Time for lunch. And here's Clint demonstrating how to eat chilies.
That's hot. Water? Sugar. No, don't need water. You want sugar? No, it's not that hot. It's got a nice, it's got a kick on it. That is. Nepali is the good medicine.
Like the Japanese with their...
From Kumjung, we head to Kundi Hospital. Founded by Sir Edmund Hillary in 1966, Kundi Hospital serves 8,000 people from the Khumbu region.
This is the only permanent hospital in the region, so the next hospital is down in Lukla, small size hospital, same as here. And so we open all around the year. The hospital was founded, established in 1966 by Sir Edmund Hillary, and the hospital is still operated or funded by Hillary Foundation. So, and yeah, so that is how it functioned. There are two doctors, myself and one Nepalese.
The cloud is clagging in now, so we're now heading for Kumjung Monastery. Among the many Buddhist manuscripts and deities, the monastery houses the strangest of them all, the Yeti skull. Whether the Yeti exists or not remains an enduring mystery, and will live on in research and legend.
Where'd you go?
One of the buildings that was damaged in the earthquake in 2015.
Trying to say hello.
We're now descending to spend our third night in the town Kayanjuma.
Abadabalam.
Look at the right place.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was looking at the camera. Okay, so as you can see, we're at the Abadabalam Lodge and Restaurant here, high in the peaks, with the bracelet seller staring at me in the face, thinking, what the hell's that idiot doing? And over there is Abadabalam itself, hiding through the clouds, snow-capped and kissed by God. Got a snap of that this morning. It's starting to look like the Alpen.
Wide angle.
Going best, can't you? That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
It is.
That's a good idea.
Nice bracelets, them, aren't they? It's nice. These are good as well, these keys.
Oh, looks like we're getting prepped. Ready
Early morning preparations for the long descent, and then the high descent up to Tamboshe Monastery.
Ready to go. Let's go.
Okay, ready.
After dragging ourselves away from the bracelet sellers and all the souvenirs, we leave Kayanjuma and head to Tamboshe Monastery.
Morning! Morning! Morning!
When we got, so it's not.
Got my good side there.
At Poxitanga, we cross the Dukosi and then begin a long and arduous ascent of 600 metres through a forest to Tamboshe.
So this is the local tap, fresh water from the mountain. Here's the quick wash. Get at the water. Beautiful fresh mountain water. Beautiful, it's ice cold, very refreshing. Recommend it. Come on then.
After a grueling 2 hours, we finally reach Tamboshe. Tamboshe Monastery, at 3,867 metres, was built in 1916 and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is the largest in the Khumbu region. Tamboshe is host to a fantastic panorama of mountains, including Everest and Nuptse and Amadabalam, provide a wonderful backdrop to our tea house.
Yeah, but you did that miner's route.
So early morning's preparation now for a trek to Dimboshe.
Chop chop time! Chop chop!
18th of October. We initially descend through a forest before climbing steadily to Dimboshe. Kumbula means God of Khumbu and is considered the sacred mountain of the Sherpas. No one climbs it and no plane can go over it.
Moving, let me get you guys up.
Oh! Now we're on the way to what that called? Upper Pangoshe.
Tamboshe, I think.
Upper Pangoshe.
Yeah.
And we're gonna take rest there for a while for tea break.
Yeah.
And after that we are going to visit monastery.
Yeah.
And as soon as we finish our monastery visit, then we're gonna move ahead to Somari and Dimbuche.
Brilliant.
Tonight, okay?
And your favourite mountain?
Over there, Amadabalam, you can see, which is like 6,800 meter high. My favorite.
Brill.
All the time.
Great.
Pangboche Monastery, built 600 years ago, is the largest and oldest monastery in the Khumbu region. Pangboche, at 3,900 metres, is the highest permanent settlement in this valley. We continue ascending the valley to Dingboche.
Here we have Everest. Look, you can actually see the Hillary step.
Namaste. Namaste.
Arrive at Dingboche at 4,530 metres, a summer settlement where great peaks surround us.
This is the result of last night's washing. As you can see, we woke up to frost this morning. Nicely modelled by Paul and Sarah. A nice little number that might go well on the catwalk.
Oh wait, mine are stuck together.
Oh yeah, they're even better.
Is that 2 in 1?
19th of October, we're having an acclimatisation day, ascending Nanga Tashang Peak. As you ascend to higher altitudes, air pressure reduces, so there's less oxygen, so you have to breathe faster and deeper to get oxygen into your body. After a few days at altitude, you acclimatise. Breathing rate slows down and the body makes more red blood cells to aid oxygen around the body. Altitude sickness can take many forms, from headaches, loss of appetite, tiredness and nausea, to more serious forms like vomiting, uncoordination, hallucinating, and it can lead to cerebral edema, which can result in seizures, coma and death. Pulmonary edema is a build-up of fluids in the lungs. Again, this can lead to coma and death if not acted on. So, a general rule for acclimatising over 3,000 metres is to only increase altitude by 1,000 feet per day, and every 3,000 feet of elevation gained, take a rest day. If you climb more than 1,000 feet in a day, as long as you descend to lower altitude to sleep, you climb high, sleep low. Another 600 metre climb today, as we head to Leboche. We are now crossing the end of the terminal moraine of the Khumbu Glacier, and we will rest at Douglas for a while.
Sean!
Yes. Sneakers. Drinks. Drinks.
No, that's not.
Black tea. Tea, black tea.
Black coffee.
Black coffee. Two.
Leaving Douglas, we ascend steeply to Chukpulari, a poignant place where there is a line of memorial stones in tribute to climbers who have lost their lives on Everest. The trail eases off as we follow the valley to Leboche, a tiny hamlet with a few tea houses.
Superman's out of breath.
This is our first view of the Khumbu Glacier, which leads up along the valley to Mount Everest. And at just over 16,000 feet, we arrive at Leboche.
Namaste. It's our final night, the night before base camp, and we're all tucked up. It's only about 7:30. It's absolutely freezing, so this sleeping bag then has come in really handy. We're going to have an early start tomorrow. Breakfast is at 6. No, breakfast is at 5:30. We're up at 5, we're leaving dead on 6 for Gorak Shep. That'll take us about 3 hours. And then after Gorak Shep we have a light lunch and then off to base camp. So all in all, tomorrow will be 9 to 12 hours walking. So, on that note, good night folks.
Morning, it's 6 a.m, it's base camp day. We've got about an hour and a half to Gorak Shep, and then we're going to have
You say bright sunshine.
bite to eat or something and some lunch.
Somewhere.
I don't know what we're having. Hot drink. And then we're going to go to base camp, which is on the Kumbu Glacier, which is terminal moraine, so it'll be ups and downs, a few boulderings. And then we'll get to base camp in about 3.5 hours after then.
Well, the last donation I didn't share it on Facebook, but I will this one.
Morning.
Morning.
Heading Everest Base Camp.
Some of my friends.
Correct.
We're going to base camp.
Yay!
Come on.
Maybe shorts underneath all those trousers.
We can't recognise people this morning because they're that well wrapped up. This is Rob.
Well, I think.
How's your head this morning?
Very good, actually. Yeah, fingers are numb, but head's good.
Morning, Phil.
Morning, Simon.
Morning.
Morning, Kim.
Final push.
Everybody's excited this morning as we set off on a long 12-hour day, following the Kumbu Glacier northwards to Gorak Shep, and then we continue on up and down the moraine to reach Everest Base Camp.
Ahead of us, the Black Rock is Kalabatami, which means Black Rock. We'll be doing that tomorrow. To the right, looking down where you can see the snow. Right at the bottom, that's part of the Kumbu ice flow.
Yeah, it's Steve, that'll be a great thing.
Which is the route, the most dangerous part of the route up Everest. And then Camp 1 is above the Kumbu ice flow. Finally, Gorak Shep. And then afterwards on to base camp.
At just under 17,000 feet, Gorak Shep is a frozen lake bed covered with sand. It's the final village before base camp. The trail to base camp starts by walking on a sandy flat and eventually onto the lateral moraine of the Khumbu Glacier. We ascend the side of the glacier for a couple of hours before finally descending onto the rocky glacial moraine itself with its fascinating ice seracs.
This is Everest Base Camp.
So, when you finally walk for several days, 10 days or so, you finally get to a sign. Sign says Everest Base Camp at 17,598 feet, or, if you're European, 5,304 metres. All of that time, all of that money, all of that work, the pain, everything that you've gone through in your life, all of those dreams comes down to a sign. You can see the Rumbuk Glacier, and then it gets bluey as it goes and makes its way up to Everest, and this is why this is a base camp, and we're not going up there.
Hi there. So we're on our Everest base camp trek, and the trekking is tough, but one of the hardest parts of this challenge is the sleeping accommodation. I mean, this is the size of the room. It's very, very small. It is absolutely freezing cold. So we're like in a shed, really. It's a tin roof. The windows, there's drafts coming through. I've got a sleeping bag, sleeping liner. I'm sleeping in my gloves. I've got my t-shirt on, my socks on, hat. It is absolutely freezing. We've got a toilet down the corridor. There's a hole in the ground that like about 20 rooms have to use. But, well, this is actually quite good compared to the people who are living in Nepal where their homes were destroyed by the earthquake. And that's why we're doing this. I mean, we're freezing cold and we're just suffering for a few days. But these people have been living like that for 2 years. So we want to help them, and with your help, and if you can help us with some donations, that would be much appreciated, so that we can rebuild these homes, and so they've got somewhere, at least a roof over their heads and some walls and windows, rather than live in a wooden shack. Clint, how are you finding coping with these conditions?
Look, I've been in these conditions before, but this is pretty cold and pretty rough. I mean, the size of the room to start with is probably less than half a single garage, but I think it is the cold. Yeah. No insulation, tin roof, and literally the harsh mountain weather is just out that single glazed window. So very grateful for what I've got back home, and also grateful for the opportunity to help people rebuild their own homes.
So, if you would like to support us and help a family in Nepal, so they've got somewhere to call home and somewhere to stay where it's a little bit warmer than the shack they're living in, please, 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 just spare some money. There's a Just Giving link, and any donations, doesn't matter how big or small, will be much appreciated by the people of Nepal. Thank you very much.
See you soon. Thank you.
7 members of our trekking team are raising funds for Thangpalkot, a village that was totally destroyed in Nepal's 2 earthquakes in April 2015. It cost only £1,600 to purchase and transport materials to get 1 house built, so the team are hoping to rebuild all the homes in Thangpalkot.
Wow,
thank you very
much. Wouldn't
And
have been
Pepe.
included last night.
And Pepe, so not one.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
So
That's wicked, much appreciated. Yeah.
okay.
22nd of October. Another long day. We retrace our steps along the Khumbu Glacier, firstly stopping at Loboshe for lunch, and then continuing on down the valley to the lower altitude of Perichet.
We're not out of the woods yet.
Almost.
Welcome to Perichet.
So we've got porridge, toast. Syrup, jam, got everything. Omelettes, scrambled egg. Everyone's rearing to go. Well, I think.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Not 120.
Oh, you this morning?
I'm fine, how are you?
Good, I'm fine.
Had one of the best night's sleep
Yeah,
ever.
you want to see that? Get your cholo che and the talu che.
And I will pick.
Great.
23rd of October, our penultimate trekking day. We leave Perichet and follow the Imjakola Valley to Namche. We were going to stop at Kayenjuma today, but we have lost a day due to our plane having to be diverted and having to stay an unscheduled night in Ramchak Mantala. So we have to push on an extra 4 hours to reach Namche, which will make today's trek an extremely long one.
So leaving Perichet behind, we're now going to, where are we going first?
Namche.
Right.
Namche Bazar Luxio Bua.
No, but I suppose so whoever's involved in the temple. Writing it systemised to start with, yeah. Where's mine?
There was after song. I was there.
Namaste.
You see that I'm a problem.
I'm sick of seeing it.
After crossing the Imjakola River, we now ascend to Tamboshe. Tangboshe.
Well, it's our last day now and we're going to be trekking to Lukla, which will take about 10 hours. We're keeping our fingers crossed and everything else. We've heard that the flights aren't going because of the mist, as you can see. So hopefully that will clear for us for Wednesday morning. So off we go now.
24th of October, our final leg of the trek. Leaving Namche, we have another long day, heading towards Lukla. At least for the most, it's downhill.
Come on, let's have a view. How lovely. Straight on now.
Amazing view down there, isn't it?
Please. Mocha hot.
There's a certain attraction about it, right?
When she blew up, yeah, when she got fat, yeah. Only once she got massive.
And what was the factor?
We've already lost Snickers, ready to go.
Yeah, there's a dust.
Ready.
No, you're going to wait for the coffee. One sip of coffee.
Hello.
So, we've just arrived in the beautiful town of Lukla. That also signifies that we have now finished the massive trek to, come around to the left, we've now finished a massive trek to Everest Base Camp. If you come up here, you know there's money coming into the area because there's developments on the go, as you can see on your right hand side. On your left hand side, you can book an aeroplane ticket, I think. And actually, this pile of rubble is going to be turned into a building. Can you believe that? Success rate, 100%. Exodus, thank you very much. We have an extremely experienced. Come on, Chunk.
Namaste. How are you?
This is why there's a 100% success rate.
In Exodus.
People like this who pray for us every morning. Come on, keep coming. Little shops here, we can get mobile phone stuff, electronics, whatever you need. This is the North Face Himalayan Resort. There is also, coming up on your right hand side, you'll never believe this, and we will be here tonight. This is an Irish pub. Now, there's another Irish pub that's the highest one in the world. This isn't the highest one in the world, but it will do for tonight.
Great.
Get 2 for 1 drinks.
Hello. Oh, the sun, look, hello.
Hello, namaste.
The end of a brilliant adventure.
After 11 days trekking, we finally reached Lukla. where it all started. Let's just hope and pray that the plane flies out to Kathmandu tomorrow.
Well done. Thank you. Great work.
Well done! Well
Well done. Well done. Well done.
Yes, you're lucky Scotsman.
Let's get some beer!
Good news. After a long wait at Lukla Airport, we finally take off. It was a sad moment having to say our farewells to Cami, Bin and Chong, our assistant guides, who no doubt will be greeting another group of trekkers and repeating the same adventure. Kathmandu, situated in the valley, is the largest city of Nepal. Shut off from the outside world until 1951, it has a population of 2 million in the city and 6 million in the Kathmandu Valley. It has a multi-ethnic population, with Hindu and Buddhist being the majority. The city is the gateway to the Nepalese Himalayas. Richly decorated Buddhas guard the steps that lead to the ancient site of Swayambanath, the monkey temple. There are 365 steps to climb to reach the 2,500-year-old site, which for centuries has been an important centre for Buddhist learning. The central stupa, Swayambanath, is situated on the Padmachal hill. There's a height of 10 metres and circumference of 64 metres. It represents the four elements: earth, fire, air and water.
How much?
850. It's a 7 meter.
2 for 1,000. 2 for 1,000.
1,004.
2 for 1,000.
1,002.
2 for 1,000.
Little more, little more.
No, 2 for 1,000.
One.
No, take or leave. 2 for 1,000.
Okay.
I'm having a lovely day.
No, I don't like that. 2 for 5.
Is it 1727?
We've done some heavy bargaining.
What you bought? 2 little aquariums.
Oh yeah.
And you got an oil painting?
Yeah.
Which one?
We got a yak going up Aberdablam.
Oh, brilliant.
And a yak going up Everest.
And a yak going up Everest.
We had to get yak paintings. Oh, they're gorgeous.
Yeah, you come back, yeah?
Yeah. I like the trekkers.
Some lovely work. Yeah.
I like trekkers.
Trekkers?
No yak?
Yeah, I do like yak, but I'd like people. Trekkers.
This one also.
Oh, but I like that.
It's lovely, isn't it?
That's really cute there.
Yeah.
1,000?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I was giving up. You've given up on her now.
I love that.
What you done then? You've been in the nick for pickpocketing?
Yeah. Pickpocketing. Let me out.
Look. Ow.
Let me out.
Leaving Swayambanath, we're now heading to Pashupatinath, which lies on the banks of the sacred Bagmati River, 5 kilometres northeast of Tamil. Pashupatinath is one of Nepal's great pilgrimage sites. The temple is considered one of the sacred temples of Hindu faith.
Good place, long life, very fine. Okay.
Yeah.
stone plateaus are situated along the river and are used for open-air cremations that take place on a daily basis.
1, 2, 3 and...
Pero si en la boca si nada más así. Primo, hermano, sobrino. Pero se bañan en su casa. En casa, poniendo oro ahí.
Pashupatinath, with its many temples and religious monuments, has been designated a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. Our final night's meal together, giving our farewells and presentation to Nirmal, our guide, for our spectacular adventure in the Himalayas, and with some traditional Nepalese dancing thrown in. Trekking in the footsteps of Edmund Hillary in Tenzing Norgay and other legends, the Everest Base Camp trek took us through Sherpa country, past cultivated fields and hamlets, along valleys and crossing rivers, through forests and into high altitude scenery, offering us views of Amadablam and other mighty Himalayan giants. The highest reaching Everest Base Camp for the magnificent view of Everest, the highest mountain on Earth.